What is up, YouTube? Blue Evolution 312 checking in. Gonna finally do the review of the EVO that I've been talking about for about 6 weeks. As you guys can tell, it's the middle of Chicago, or middle of winter in Chicago, excuse me, so it sucks out pretty much. You know, no leaves on the trees, freezing every day, snow on the ground. Can't take old girl out, so here she is, you know, winter hibernation mode. As you can see, still beautiful. Love this thing. But point of today's video is I'm going to finally do a vlog, I guess you would say, and talk about what I've done to the car, the mods inside and out, things like the RPF ones, you know, the completely built engine that the car has. As you can see, pretty stock inside. I don't know if it's going to be dark in here, but just wanted to show you guys, but pretty stock. As you can see, I like to keep it clean, simple, sleeper. Just a couple gauge pods up there to keep an eye on boost and air fuel. Digital, of course, AEM. But thought I'd let you guys take a quick peek before we go inside and kind of take a walk through the receipts. As you can see, there's Max, the tow machine / drag strip monster. Runs a 12-second quarter mile, pretty much stock. Supercharger next year on that thing, so stay tuned for videos to come. Team mascot chilling. What's up, Hugo? Say hi to the internet. He's a big talker, as you can see. But I'm going to take you guys inside here. We're going to go through all the receipts. I try to keep as much as possible of the video, for the video, excuse me, and kind of just walk you through the journey over the last almost 6 years with the car. Did buy it brand new at the dealership, Schaumburg Mitsubishi, in the summer of 2011. So, like I said, we're going to go inside and walk through the details, so hang tight. Alright, so we're back inside the crib, as they say. But like I said, I wanted to walk you guys through some of the details from the time of purchase back in 2011 when I got the EVO, Little Blue Demon, as I call her. Much love for this thing, but it's been a journey, and I truly mean that. I know a lot of people think it sounds super cool to modify a car, right? You know, it's great, let's make it go faster, and you know, everybody on the internet's doing it, right? So it's fucking cool. But I got news for you. While it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to see something improve and get better, I guess, every single time, at the same time, there's a lot of heartache that comes along with it. I've been you know, I've been doing this myself since getting out of college in 2001. A little bit older than most of the other EVO owners out there, but you know, I fell in love with the car back in the Gran Turismo days on PlayStation 1, believe it or not, playing as a kid. And I was living in Colorado post-college in the Denver area, and as you guys can see on my Instagram, I bought my first EVO 8 right when they hit the States, pretty much. I bought a 2003 red EVO 8 GSR, obviously 5-speed manual. MR wasn't available in 03 and 04. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I've broken a lot of parts, a lot of stuff, and I've been sitting on the bed of tow trucks many a times, including recently with the EVO, the blue one in the garage right now. So like I said, ups and downs, baby, ups and downs. So I guess the point of today's video is we're going to walk you through what I've done to it. So I got all my receipts kind of set up on the table here. This isn't everything, but it is, I would say, for the most part, most of it. I try to keep as much as possible. I'm pretty anal, but I have lost some time slips from drag strip events and half-mile events, and you know, receipts for odds and ends here and there for little things, but the majority of it, I would say 90% of it's here. So hoping the camera can focus in as I walk through this, and you guys can kind of see the details, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes, the overview version of it. And here we go. Here, and basically let you see what I've done to the vehicle. As you can see, I have all the receipts lined up here for over the years. This is probably most of it. I got my owner's manual over here, original window sticker, some other stuff that came with the vehicle when I was new. This is pretty cool. This is my first dyno sheet from AMS Performance when the car literally had less than I think it had about 500 miles on it total. And as you can see, it made 309, 318 on their very low reading Mustang dyno. Mitch at AMS had written in the dyno jet numbers for me right there. The car was able to run a bunch of 12-second passes at about 106, 107 miles an hour. Hopefully you can see those there. But basically that was, in my opinion, one of my favorite times with the vehicle. It was back when I was just keeping it super simple. And it ran good, and I could drive it to Florida like I did to go visit my folks and not worry about anything. It was just going to be reliable. Then at that point, about a year later, as you can see, and for the folks that wanted to see what the Stage 1, Stage 2 cost me, it was about $3,600, as you can see right there. And basically that was a front mount intercooler with piping, their downpipe, a clutch line, some shifter base bushings. But basically, long story short, it was equivalent of a Stage 1 or Stage 2 package, putting down about 310 wheel on their AMS Mustang dyno. So really happy with that package. That was probably when the car was close to at its best, in my opinion. You could just turn the key and go. Didn't have to worry about anything per se, which is cool. So just reliable, cool, pretty fucking fast fun. So, I mean, at that point, I think it went at best at 12.3 seconds on that Stage 1, Stage 2 setup from AMS. At about 108 or 109 miles an hour is the best time I put down. So, not bad. At that point, about a year later, as you can see, I decided to take it to Boost and Performance and go see Devin at Boost and Performance. Had heard a bunch of good stuff about what he was doing over there, and AMS was getting to be pretty difficult to get into with the GTR stuff. But as you can see right there, there's another $2,300 to the Modifying the Car Fund. And basically what I was doing there was I was installing my MAP EF3 turbo upgrade that I did. So I did the MAP EF3, which would be similar to an FP Red, with a set of 1000cc injectors and a fuel pump. That was good for about 400 wheel horsepower on a Mustang dyno. Low reading once again, 440 on a dyno jet. You can see right here that it made on virtual dyno, because he didn't have a Mustang dyno at that point years ago, made 441 on a virtual dyno. Once again on the EF3 made by MAP. They no longer make that turbo, but that was a pretty fun setup too, super reliable. I had rocked that setup for about 20,000 miles, very reliable miles again. Went very fast, didn't really break anything. It was a pretty cool setup. So after that, we took a look at doing E85 and stepping up to the big game with the E85. And yeah, we're just going to have to edit that out. So after that, as you can see, I went back and had some more dynos done to the tune of 400, 303, 401, 304. And I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore, so we'll probably just cut this part out. But as you can see here, the car later that summer, and then once again this is in May of 2013, decided to go to the half-mile event. And as you can see, the car pretty consistently did low 140s up to almost 142. And I think that was pretty impressive because that was with the stock block. And like I said, a lot of fun with that setup at that point, super reliable, no problems. But when I decided to get crazy the following year and build the long block, that's when things got interesting, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and set you back down for this. But basically, at that point, I had maxed out the stock engine, got about as fast as I probably could go from what I could realize safely without blowing up the engine. I think the limiting part in the stock engine was the rods, obviously, and then the stock sleeves for some were a concern. But basically, I wanted to go bigger, faster, better, and at that point, talking to Devin at Boost and Performance, we decided to completely build the long block. And at that point, we did cylinder head. I dart and sleeved the block with Wiseco 10-1 compression pistons, so I went high compression. Obviously running the 85. I did the Manly Turbo Tough rods. I did Boost and Performance Stage 3 cylinder head with the AMS TMP cams and all the other accessories you would expect. Trying to go fast through all this here. Also upgraded the fuel system at that point and did the excuse me, the surge tank setup, and am rocking 3 fuel pumps in all. I have the Walbro 255 in tank that's feeding the 2 Walbros inside the radium surge tank with a set of ID 2000 cc injectors. I also have the SparkTech ignition system to keep up with the big boost and big fuel demands of the 85 fuel system. But basically, a long story short, guys, that experience was pretty expensive to do all that, and this at this point was still the MAP EF3 Turbo. I didn't even have enough money after the $17,000 because it went over budget, surprise. But that's what happens. You got to pay to play. So if you guys are expecting to go and get a $10,000 engine build and be ready to go, I think you're kidding yourself. But basically, at that point, took the car back to the drag strip. Was able to run a couple, some mid to low 11s. I think my best one was an 11.4, I believe, on this setup at almost 126. As you can see right here, did a couple 11.8s right out of the gate at about 120. And this was on about 444 wheel horsepower on that low reading Mustang dyno. So at that point, I waited, let's see here, till March of 2015, so fast forward another year, and I decided I wanted to go faster and really utilize that big bad motor that I put in the vehicle. Had some money again, and I was ready to go faster. So at that point, we decided to go with the full race. I went the EFR T4 twin scroll, external wastegated 8374. With the 145 exhaust housing. Ridiculous setup. It's pretty surprising how fast that thing spools, given how big the turbo is, but it's an awesome setup. Highly recommend it. The external wastegates might be a little loud for some. They're a little loud for me at times, but they do sound filthy when they open, and they pretty much scare people, so that's cool. Let's see here. So we did that. That cost me about $5,600 just for labor and some more tuning and then some other stuff here to get the vehicle going again. Plus the price of the turbo kit, which is about six or 7 G's if I remember right. So at that point, I spent about another $13,000 to get to the point of 601 wheel horsepower and 483 foot-pounds of torque. And then at that point I went down to Virginia. Sorry guys, don't have the time slips. And at Virginia at almost 5,000 feet above sea level. I'm not sure what the density altitude was, but basically the car went 156, 157 on a few passes at 5,000 feet above sea level. So pretty respectable. Probably would have been low to mid 160s at sea level with a good DAL. So not bad there. I was still having some problems with the car. Wasn't running perfect. So as you can see, I had to bring it back again in June. So just a few weeks later. And same thing, fuel delivery issues, which has been one of the big demons with the car that we'll talk about in other videos. But basically another $3,100. But he was able to get another 50 wheel horsepower and about another 60 foot-pounds of torque out of it, so at almost 9,000 RPM. So all in all, I would say that, if I had to do it again, I would probably have kept it a stock engine car. I think that's the moral of the story. As you guys can see, I've almost spent $100,000 on this car altogether with the cost of the vehicle back in 2011. And for that much money, I could have got a lot more car. And as much as I love the Evos, at this point the car's not reliable. It idles like shit, has problems all the time. And I think this year I'm actually going to be looking to tone it down, believe it or not, and get it to the point where it is more fun, more reliable, and not as stressful to drive. So with that being said, I hope you guys liked the video. Please hit that subscribe and smash that like button if you can. Looking to do a lot more of this. Hoping to do weekly vlogs if possible. About to have a new baby, so I'm not sure if that's going to be completely possible. Might be a little optimistic at this point. But looking to do this as much as possible. And like I said, I have the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the MR2 Turbo, and the Evo. And looking to do a lot of racing with all those vehicles and have a bunch of fun in 2017. So once again, stay tuned for more, and I promise I will get better with the videos, the editing, the commentary, everything. But appreciate everyone following me thus far, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.